Hello everybody, John here from the esports department going over the two-game LPL slate for tonight. It's not one of the best, not one of the worst. It's not two huge blowouts at least, which is nice. You gotta hate those two gamers, but there is at least one. Starting with Top Esports minus 2,000. They're 10-4 on the season. Up against TT, who is plus 900, 3-11 on the season. Clearly, all the stats are going to be pretty heavily in favor of Top Esports. Is there any reason to play TT? I mean, sure, if the field is big enough, pretty much any team on any league slate is playable. Maybe Top Esports is having a bit of a hangover after they lost their last match here. Maybe they're being figured out a little bit. Maybe TT's seen something in that last match. Maybe TT with no pressure on them is tries some things that Top Esports aren't ready for, but realistically, I mean, Top Esports is going to win this match a huge percentage of the time. Also, TT is 3-11 with nothing to play for. Top Esports is 10-4, and will definitely be looking to try to steal their way into this top 4 spot here. So they're definitely playing for something that they care about. They will want to win this match. It's tough to really find a reason to be involved with TT. The numbers are very large for this slate, though. 17.7 and 20.3 in kill per win, death per loss for Top Esports, both in the 17s for TT. We should expect a fair few kills here. I'm guessing Top Esports will be the highest expectation team on the slate, but we'll see when we get over to the projections in a minute. The more interesting of the two matches is WE at plus 130, 11-3 on the season, up against EDG, who is minus 170, also 11-3 on the season. So WE and EDG are both fighting for this top 2 spot. If they end up 12-4 or better, they can steal this spot away from JDG. JDG's tiebreaker number is not super high compared to them. If EDG gets up to 12-4, they'll pass them almost for sure. If WE gets up to 12-4 or better, their tiebreakers could easily get there. Like if they win their last 2 matches 2-0, they'll be a plus 16. They'll be a plus 15 if they win one of them 2-1. So WE can definitely get up there as well. Both teams that have a lot to play for here and would love to be in that top 2 slot. Now, the interesting part to me is WE being the underdogs. Gold per minute, they're up 1891 to 1863. They're a little bit better gold differential, 177 to 164. They are behind in both First Blood and First Turret, and they give up Dragons a little bit more often, 59 to 63. Both teams very impressive numbers there, but just a little bit more often for EDG. Herald percentage, they're up by 10%, and at 15 minutes, it's plus 1340 or plus 1353 to plus 458. So WE with the better early game, and WE is a team that traditionally I kind of view as not an early game team, more like a mid game team. And so seeing that they're significantly better in the early game, and I would think of them as being more of a mid game team. So is EDG, by the way. I don't consider EDG to be an early game team either. But this is a great matchup, just a really great matchup. The plus 130 on WE feels a little disrespectful. For me, I'm making this minus 120 on both sides if I'm the book. I think this is a super close matchup. WE is definitely trending upwards. You can see they're on a 6-win streak. EDG has struggled a little more in the second half of the season than they did in the first half, whereas WE is really putting it together. So for me, I actually feel like WE should be the favorite in this matchup, and I'll probably be playing them in GPPs today. Unfortunately, the part that hurts me about that is this is going to be, I think, the lower scoring of the two matchups. That's my guess on where the projections are going to go. And that's always a problem because I'd like to be 4-stacking WE. If I think that they're really the favorite and I want to be playing them today, I'd like to be 4-stacking them. Lane by lane, it's very interesting matchups because Flandre and Breathe is an insanely tough top lane matchup. You're dealing with 2 of the best top laners in the league. In the jungle, you have to give the edge to Kanavi, I think, but both players have played very well. In the mid lane, I think you have to give the edge to Scout, but both players have played very well this season. And then in the bot lane, it's a monster fest down there with Zhumeng and Missing versus Viper and Mako. Just an absolute monster fest in the bot lane, 2 of the best bot lanes in the league. So hard to say who should win this matchup. For me, I think WE might actually be a small favorite for my mind. The ownership is going to be pretty obvious. It should be Top Esports, EDG, WE, and TT will be way at the bottom. I wouldn't be surprised to see WE at like 40% or 30%, and TT at like 5% or less. Like, there's just not really much reason to play TT on the slates, which is why they make a decent big field GPP play. But, yeah, WE, EDG, I think, is a real banger that I'm really excited to watch. Let's see how the projections play out I'm going to leave EDG in there, or leave EDG and WE in there. And it looks like WE EDG actually projecting better in the top lane. WE projecting better in the jungle. Oh, I said Kanabi earlier when I meant Beishang. Jesus. Mid lane, top esports, followed by WE and EDG. So the Knight expectation maintaining being pretty darn good this season. At 80 carry, Jackie Love out projecting, and at support it's Zhuo. So 3 out of 5 positions you're dealing with top esports being the highest projected team. In the jungle, it's WE, and in the top lane, WE or EDG, whoever happens to win. So you're going to want the top laner from that matchup, and not 369 is pretty much the long and short of that story. In cash, I mean, it's up to what you think about this matchup. If you're going top esports EDG in cash, there is a Karsa Captain 3-3. Could we... You may have to play 369. No, he's 400 more, so you can't switch to him either. GG is cheaper, so could we switch to, like, GG Captain? That does give us enough to go with a 4th top esports player, so we could do... This would be my go-to, I think. GG Captain with Flandre, and then 4 top esports and EDG team. If you're going with EDG and cash. This feels like a day to play 3-mans or 4-man winner-take-alls instead of playing heads-ups, and then just going with WE, I think. That's probably what my strategy tonight's going to be. I assume I can get a very strong... Yeah, let's see, 3-3 there. If I switch the captain to Jumeng, can I get a 4-2 with top esports? That would leave me 600. Yeah, that can put me up to Karsa, which is what we would want. So yeah, you could go Jumeng Captain with Breathe and then 4 top esports at WE. I love this lineup for winner-take-alls. I think this is probably what you're going to find me on tonight if you look through me. This lineup seems sweet. You could also probably go, let's see, Knight with Shanks. Zhuo and Karsa and Breathe. You can also do Knight Captain with 4 top esports, but then instead of Jumeng, you're getting Shanks. While we're on the video, let me just quickly look at the match histories for those guys and their recent wins. Historically, that would have been, you'd want to play the Jumeng lineup by a million miles, but sometimes, you know, this year has not been as good for Jumeng as last split was. So let me just have a quick look at it. Jumeng's last 5 wins: 77, 116, 80, 80, 101. So 2 in the 80s, 1 in the 70s, and then 2 in the 100s. What about Shanks? Significantly lower. A 40, a 100, a 65, a 74. So I think you'd rather have the Jumeng Captain with 4 TES. I think that's what I'm going to play tonight. So that's probably what I'm doing tonight. If you want to go cash, I guess you go EDG top esports. If you want to go heads ups, I mean. But I think I'd rather play winner take alls and play WE. So that's what I'm going to be on tonight, I think. So that's it for this slate, guys. Another kind of boring one, but we have a 4-gamer to discuss tomorrow. So we'll be back to the Steinberg Challenge. We'll be back to actually deciding which teams we want to play instead of just picking a team from each matchup. So I will talk to you guys then, and let's get that money. Until then, talk to you later.